Hey gang, today by the request of a subscriber, we are going to apply the concept of partial chords and CAGED theory to a song. Okay, so two specific songs. As a matter of fact, we're going to apply it to the Beatles' Let It Be and to Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are to show you how you can play it in different parts of the fretboard and how it can make your play a lot easier. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. Hey, as always, if you like this one, give it the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, subscribe for a couple of these every single week. We'll see you in just a second. All right, gang, let's go over this together. We're going to do Let It Be first, and then we'll do the more complex Just the Way You Are. I should say that I'll put a couple of things in the links below, or in the description below. One is I will put in a link to some of the chords that we're going to be doing, and you'll be able to figure out what are the partial chords that we're using. Second thing is I'll put up here a link to the other videos, as well as a link to the other videos down here that I've covered recently, which should allow you to, again, there's a couple of downloads that are associated with that. I would advise looking at those videos and then coming to this. I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's do it. Let's cover Let It Be first, and you get to hear my incredibly hoarse and horrible voice as I sing this, but that's just to give you some bearings on what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to do this one in C. So, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Okay, so those are the chords, and let's kind of go over them before I show you how you can play them in a different area and how you can still get some of that, even some of that movement that's in there, and why you might care to do that. So let's start out with just the chords themselves. It starts out with a C. When I find myself in G of trouble, A minor, Mary, F to me. It sounds a little weird. Speaking with a C, words of wisdom, G, let it be, F. And then there's a walk down to a C, right? Okay, so you can even strum that. Okay, so there's a walk down movement to C that's kind of like this: F to C to G to C. All right, so pretty simple chord progression, and we played it all here, and it was self-contained. So why would we want to play it in a different area anyway? Well, one of the reasons might be that you don't want to step all over other musicians. So just doing that, we might want to confine ourselves. One of the tricks I find on guitar is if you confine yourself to the first three strings or the middle three strings, 4, 3, and 2, that you do a good job of staying away from the bassist, and you do a good job of usually staying away from the piano player too if you avoid the top string. So let's try and do that, okay? So we're going to start out with C. And so just playing it right here, if we just play in a 4, 3, and 2, we could do that. When I find myself in times, that's a G. So we start with a C, but we're not playing this. This is just 4, 3, and 2 strings. Find myself in times. That's the middle 3 strings. G of trouble. Mother Mary, that's an A minor, comes to me. F, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And then here I'm going to hit that note. But we could just play this too. And that sounds good. You see how easy it is when we're playing those, and it allows us to do things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do, like to play when I find myself. Stuff like that really works well, and it's easy. Let's try it in a different position, because that can sometimes sound good too. So if we try it in a different position, that involves finding some root notes. So here's one right here. Here's another C. And we can use the A form of C, right? That's this right here. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stay in this area to play all the chords. When I find myself, that's a C. Here's the E of the G. In times of trouble, that's the E form of the G. Now I'm going to go to the E form of the A minor and only play on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. Mother Mary. And now I'm going to play the C form of the F. You see the F is right there. Comes to me. Let's go over that again. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. Really cool, right? You can play Hendrixy sounding stuff. Not moving much at all, and it's really kind of beneficial to do that. And these are all really easy to finger, okay? And you can keep doing the same thing. You can do it even up here, right? So here's another C right here. And there's a C right there. So now I'm going to use the E form of C. When I find myself. Now I'm going to go to G. I'm going to use the C form of G. There's my G. In times of trouble. Now I'm going to use a different form of A minor. I'm going to use this form. This is a C form of A minor. Hard to play, but it's really easy to play the partial chord. Mother Mary. And now the A form of F comes to me. You can see it really works well. It's really straightforward. Okay, so that's Let It Be. There's lots of different places you can play it. You can even play it up here, wherever. As long as you find those notes, you can put the associated chord, and it works well, and it's good to think about the CAGED shapes. Let's do that one more time for this one down here. So here's the C shape, or the A shape of C. When I find myself, and I'm only playing with 4, 3, and 2. Find myself in times. There's the E shape of G. Times of trouble. Mother Mary. That's the E form of A minor. Mother Mary comes to me. That's the C form of F. There's the F right there. The fifth fret, fifth string, 8th fret. Comes to me. Speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Right? Okay? Or, and that works. Okay, let's try Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are. And we're going to do the chord progression first. Again, this is a really hard one to sing, so I'm going to attempt it. And all right, so it starts out in a D. Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before. Ooh, I can't imagine. Here we go, it's tough now. You're too familiar, and I don't see you anymore. Oh boy. All right, so what are those chords? Good chords, interesting chords. And we're going to show you can play them all on the 4, 3, and 2 strings using partial chords. It really helps. So, and thinking about this in terms of CAGED. So let's try this one. So it starts out with a D. Don't go changing. That is a B minor 6th. All right. Now, when we do this, I'll show you. You can play a B minor and it sounds just fine. And but there is interest in playing these partial chords. I'll show you one of the advantages that partial chords do is it lets you connect and understand things about the guitar that are hard to do when you're just looking at everything. All right, so the first chord is D, second chord is B minor 6th, third one is G major 7, to try and please me, and now it goes from B minor to D7. Okay, now back to this one. You never let me down before. Okay, the You Never Let Me Down starts out in G major 7 again. You never, G minor, let me down before. Back to a D. Okay, then the transition chords are A minor, ooh, and D7. Now you can just use a D there, it sounds fine. Okay. I don't imagine, that's again G major 7 to G minor. Okay, D, you're too familiar. So that's D to a B minor. E, where I don't see you, to an E7. Anymore. A sus4 to an A. All right, now we're going to do the beauty of the partial chords here, and we're just going to show you them. So the first one, and you'll see how easy it is. Some of these are really hard to finger, especially for beginners, and it's hard to put in little fills. What if I want to put in a, that sort of thing? It's really hard when you're fingering like this or like this or like this, You're using all your fingers, so you don't have any spares. So the partial chords allow you to do stuff like that. So let's do it from the beginning, all right? I'm just going to play a partial chord for D. That's fine. Don't go changing. So that's the beginning part, right? So D. Now here's the B minor 6, but we're just playing on the 4, 3, and 2. Now it still sounds kind of rich, but what's interesting is that for those of you who know the 9th chord, this is a lot like an E 9th chord, isn't it? And in fact, knowing those two things is kind of interesting. A B minor 6th is very similar to an E 9th. And you can see that up here too. There's another form of the B minor 6th, and here's an E 9th. They're very similar, except they just have different bass notes. If the bass player is already playing the bass note, guess what? You don't have to play it, and it's going to sound just as rich. And it's easier to do, and it's going to allow you to do things like that kind of stuff. All right? So here's the D. Here's my B minor 6th. Okay, so now I'm going to a G major 7th, but I'm just going to play a G major on this one. To try and please me. Again, that's a B minor. Just playing the 3 on the 4, 3, 2. All right. You never let me down. So that's really nice, right? It sounds great to just go from that major. You never let me down before. Right? All right, so we play a D, A minor, D7. Again, I'm only playing these partial chords in there. Okay, back to the G major. Can't imagine. G minor. D to B minor. Now the E. Well, I don't see you. E7. Anymore. And that's that A sus to an A. And that's just playing those partial chords, right? So the interesting thing, I think, is to find when you're playing these, and you can play in different, as I showed before, you can play in different positions, and knowing CAGED allows you to do that. For example, if I wanted to, I could move some of these things where I went down here, where I went down to the beginning. Don't go Don't go changing. Instead of going down there, to try and please me. Oops, to try and please me. Never let me down before. Right? I might want to do it all around here. And if I did that, I could find different forms. So let me show you that. So here the D is, I'm just, the stuff that's right here I'm not going to show you again, but this is obviously the A form of the D. Don't go changing. That's just a B minor sixth where I'm just playing those three. But I could just play a B minor if I wanted to, which is right here. So don't go changing. Now my G major. To try and please me. To try and please me. B minor to D, right? Now G. You never let me down, G minor before. How easy is that, right? Super easy. And so I think, knowing these, all the CAGED positions, the C position and so forth, and knowing those partial chords really can help you a lot with just about any song that you're learning. And also, a huge advantage is it gives you this free finger or two free fingers to be able to do easy fills and things like that are really going to be interesting to people. And it's going to allow you to stay away from the singer and, the bassist and the pianist too. All right. Well, there you have it, gang. Partial chords, CAGED chords, showing you a couple of different songs, applications of where you could use it and how you might use it. I hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you on down the road.